Welcome to Jack's Rants, our series of smaller bonus episodes where I discuss recent IT and security news that has popped up locally and worldwide, which might not be enough material for a good episode, but nevertheless deserves a bit of insight. I am Jack Smith. A few weeks ago, we had a news story locally where one of the, let's call it major banks, had multiple repeats of transactions. People would see their bank payments deducted multiple times, or have payments from a store be deducted from their bank account a few times, or payments that would come in a few times, which, caused a bit of a stir in the media because, that's not supposed to happen, certainly when suddenly 8, 9, 10k of your local currency, in this case euros, would disappear from your bank account. You would go into the negative. You would have all kind of costs associated to that. And this has happened before, left and right, at different banks. And in short, or in long, how you see it, what is the cause of this and how can it be prevented? Well, first of all, you have to know that banks still use mainframes, because for them it just works. It gives them a big amount of consistency, it gives them transaction control, it's good resource management, and you can serialize all your operations and all your batches. And here in these batches is where the danger of this lies. Well, not the danger as such, but the reality. When you look at what's a batch, what does it do, how does it work? Well, a batch is, in mainframe speak, is a data set in wait state, as they call it in, I believe, ZOS or ZOS, which is one of the operating systems you can put on a mainframe. Your main data set, your main database is during the day read-only. You cannot change it. It's consistency, it is stability, it cannot and will not be changed. So any change that needs to be done, say you do a bank transaction, you do a transfer, you buy something at the store with your card, that goes into, often described as, a dataset in wait state. It's a temporary file, and if you look at your current amount in your bank account, you will have the main dataset, and then the wait state dataset, the temporary file, is applied on top of that to see your total. You will not see one database, you will see two. It's fully transparent in all your bank apps and websites and phone apps, but that is how they work. Now, you need to then, of course, apply all those changes into or onto the main database. And this is, in my opinion, what could have happened multiple times. You have this temporary file, you apply it to the main database, and then it gets finalized. It gets thrown in there and on top of it, and that is your latest file. Why you do this? Again, data stability. You absolutely know what's happening, you know what's happened when, and you usually do this at night. Nightly operations, the mainframe, the bank will close its offices 8, 9, 10 p.m. and then the night shift will start to apply all these temporary files, these temporary databases. And this is either a thing where transactions have been applied multiple times, so instead of 1 or 2 series, they got erroneously applied 7, 8, 9, 10 times, and then you do each transaction, of course, multiple times, and it will get applied multiple times to the database. You replay financial transactions. So you say you're at the store, you're at the supermarket, and you pay, say, 50 euros, $50. It will be minus 50, minus 50, minus 50, minus 50, minus 50, again and again and again, until your balance runs out, and then you start to have paying penalties. And because you will have, say, if you have 500 in your account and you have 3 times 150 applied to it, well, suddenly you have 50 left, and then the next day rent comes in and that bounces, and that will cause you all kind of problems where you will have late fees on your rents and you will have overdraft fees and whatnot. So this is, of course, a danger of that. What would have been the case here? Well, in my opinion, is that a temporary file, the wait state, was applied multiple times by accident, either due to an error in scheduling. There's a big scheduling database that says, okay, you applied this file at that time, this file at that file, this file at that time. Or what would be the most, well, I don't want to use the word funny, but or even the worst, is some training might have been going on, and instead of doing it on a test environment or a training environment, they just applied the wait state on production multiple times. So student 1 comes in, applies it, student 2 comes in, applies it, student 3 comes in, applies it, and then you have the same result. Do I know what happened? No. Do I like to think about these things? Yes, and this is here what I've basically been doing. It's not against mainframes as such, because they are still everywhere. Mainframes are still the big data pumps that keep the industry going. They keep finances going, they keep logistics going, they keep retail going. At a certain point in time, we've had the discussion in one of our episodes, episode 6, SAP Happens. At a certain data volume, you reach the limit of your ERP package. You go from Excel to Dynamics to SAP, and then you end up at mainframe when you become so big and have such a large data set. But then it comes with the pros and the cons of it. As said, pros of mainframe is it's rock solid, it's stable, people know it, and you can reuse all your code and all your stuff for years and years and years. The lifespan is high, the support is awesome, as long as you pay IBM or whichever vendor you have, but support is awesome. And then you work with these temporary files. And that's the good thing of a temporary file. Your main database remains untouched until you are sure that your temp file is okay and you apply it, you commit it to the main database. Of course, don't do it multiple times, just do it once. Good thing here is, if you know what was in your temporary database, you can, of course, reverse it. You know what you changed in this file. It needs to be analyzed. It needs to be investigated. You have to make a new data set, a new temp file with generally the reverse actions in there, and replay it as many times as needed. And then things should level out. Of course, this takes a few days. You have to do it in your production. And don't forget, mainframe is not an agile world. Mainframe is extremely waterfall. You will have development that has to create a file. You have to do your IT integration test to see that it actually runs properly. Then you have your acceptance test where business will see, okay, does it undo what needs to be undone and does not undo too much. Banks usually only want to repay you what was in there, that they don't want to repay you too much. Of course, you as a customer, you won't mind, but it is what they will need to look out for. And then it will be applied. If you're looking at a timing, that could be weeks. It's not a matter of days and doing it quickly. You can do it quickly, but then you risk to put in too many errors, even more than what you initially started out with. So let's not do that. So here we are, mainframes and banks, it's a thing, and don't apply your dataset in wait state more than once. This was an episode of Jack's Rants, part of IT Horror Stories with Jack Smith. You can find IT Horror Stories on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, Deezer, and wherever you find your podcasts. New episode at least once a month. Check out our merch at shop.ithorrorstories.eu or support us via Ko-fi. If you're not in the EU, you can change your region at the bottom of the shop page. You can follow our social media on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, LinkedIn, Blue Sky, Mastodon, and wherever you get your panic attacks. All links and further information on our website, ithorrorstories.eu. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget, you are one of us.
The content of this podcast is intended for entertainment purposes only and is meant to humorously explore various tech-related situations. Any resemblance to actual events or real persons, living or dead, is purely coincidental. We ridicule situations, never individuals or groups. Listener discretion is advised, and we encourage everyone to approach technology with a sense of humor and an open mind.